Brexit. Britain will bounce back from the COVID crisis far faster than its EU counterparts who are still mired in Brussels bureaucracy, a leading think tank has declared. The Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development predicted 3 months ago that the UK would grow a paltry 4.2% this year. But following the government's hugely successful vaccine rollout scheme, it ramped this estimate up to 5.1% this week. The forecast far outstrips the Office for Budget Responsibility's estimates of 4% in last week's budget. And it leaves Eurozone countries, whose economies have been strangled by shambolic vaccine rollouts, in the shade. The OECD lifted its forecasts by just 0.3 percentage points to 3.9% this year for the region. The Eurozone has vaccinated just 9 people per 100 so far, more than 3 times fewer than the 32 people per 100 since the program began in December. The report could also ease the pressure on Chancellor Rishi Sunak ahead of a tight spending review this autumn, economists said. Mr. Sunak has frozen personal tax allowances until 2026 and plans to hike corporation tax to 25% to help close a £355 billion deficit. But Julian Jessop, fellow at the Institute for Economic Affairs, told The Telegraph, it is good news because it will give him more room for maneuver. The tax rises he announced last week could prove to be all that is required and potentially more than enough to close any hole in the public finances. The European Union has been criticized for the slow pace of coronavirus vaccinations in its member states. It has introduced export controls on vaccines produced in the EU after its rollout was hit by supply problems and delays. The UK, by comparison, has approved and distributed vaccines to its population significantly faster. The EU signed a deal for 300 million doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine in December, but there have been problems with production. And the rollout in some countries was delayed because of a temporary reduction in deliveries.